Hey Moon Magic Super Souls, welcome to today's readings where we are looking at what is happening for you in March. Now, beautiful souls, if you just want to go straight to the readings and you don't want to listen to me talking, the timestamps are below. But March is a biggie. It really is. It's huge. Astrologically, March and the beginning of April are really, really big months astrologically. Really enormous. I guess I'm repeating myself, but that's the reality of the energy. And 2025 is going to be, or is in fact, as it unfolds, potentially one of the biggest years of our lives. There is so much possibility for evolution. However, that may not arrive easily. There's a lot of really intense energy. So if we think of 2025 as being one of the biggest years that we will ever encounter, then March is one of the biggest months in one of the biggest years. So I'm going to run through the energy of this month. If you're new to my channel, I used to be a psychotherapist for many, many years. I kind of integrate that sort of psychology with psychological emotional awareness with energy and the influence particularly of the moon, and obviously I draw upon channeled information through my readings. Let's have a look at the energy flow of this moon month, and then I'll dive into the readings. As I said a moment ago, you can go straight to the readings if you wish. We're looking at the month of March. On the day of doing this and uploading it for you, we are at the beginning of a new moon month. It's a new moon today in Pisces. And this really does herald a very, very, very significant month. So I'm going to talk you through that. Let me bring some information up onto the screen for you. Where are we? Here we go. So I've kind of prepared this little set of slides. If you are on my email list, I will be sending you some of this information out. I'll be sending you out some key dates. There are lots of them. I'll be sending you out also a list of the void of course moons as well. Now, if you're new to my channel, I will tell you all about void of course moons. Here we have a list of them. Now, a void of course moon is when the moon is moving from one zodiac sign to another. And this, it's not like she moves from one room to another. It's not like she steps through a door. When the moon is in a particular sign, her energy is being channeled through the personality of that sign. When she moves to the next sign, there's usually a space in between, a transitional space. Now, it means the energy is a little bit more sometimes free-flowing. Now, if you are, I don't know, motoring in your life, it can feel like a pocket of liberation where there are no additional influences coming in to sort of, have an impact on the things that you are moving forwards. So it can feel pretty fab. On the other hand, if you are going through a monumental phase of transition and it feels really difficult and you just desperately want the world to slow down, a really big void of course moon can actually feel quite unnerving, and it can feel a little bit like you're out at sea without an anchor. So it's worthy of knowing when they are, simply because they pass, and they pass very quickly. So if you find that if you check in, it might be worth you bookmarking this page if you are going through a lot of upheaval, or indeed if you just want to know when to harness the energy to your best advantage. But if you tune into these void of course moon periods, oh, my computer is making a noise there. How interesting, something popping up. I always find it fascinating that it seems to come quite randomly. Okay, tuning in with that though, moon times are not random. The moon moves with absolute precision. All of the planets are moving with mathematical precision. So we can predict what is happening with the energy ahead of time. So let's look at these void of course moons, because we don't have tons of them, of really big ones, but the ones we have are really significant. There are some that are very fleeting, half an hour, when you're barely going to notice the impact. But between the 2nd and 3rd of March, and this is going from when the moon moves from Aries into Taurus, we have a 20-hour void of course moon. This is like nearly a day. So I would really be bookmarking this page or putting this time in your diary because it's huge. Now, this can be really fabulous, really liberating, really exciting. It may also actually feel, as I said, a little bit overwhelming. On the 11th of March through to the 12th, we have a 12-hour, nearly 12 hours, a 12-hour void of course moon when the moon moves from Leo into Virgo. Between the 16th and the 17th of March, when the moon moves from Libra into Scorpio, we have another huge one, 21 hours, over 21 hours. So again, nearly a day. On the 26th of March, we actually have another one where the moon moves from Aquarius into Pisces. Now, this is 9 hours. It's still a long time. And the last one of this month is on the 30th of March. Again, Aries into Taurus. And the energy will be in this void of course space for 11 hours. Now, as we go through this moon month, which is what I'm going to do now, I will pinpoint when they are showing up, at what moon phase they're showing up in, so you really have an idea of when they're happening and what kind of energy is around. So let me move this on for you. So this is just a list of key dates. Now, I'm not going to go through them. There are tons of amazing astrologers out on YouTube. You can find them, listen to them, and follow their stuff. There's so much out there that is really, really good. But I've put the key dates here just so that you can kind of just glance down, cast your eye over this. Most of the key dates are happening with planetary influences that are impacting in the signs of Aries and Pisces. We do have a couple in Virgo as well. Well, it's the full moon eclipse in Virgo, but which is again really interesting because the Virgo energy is sort of sitting, especially towards the end of Virgo. We are moving into what we call the Earth's axis point, which is also the beginning of Aries. The end of Pisces, the beginning of Aries. So this is really, really powerful. We've got lots happening in one particular area. So the energy is quite intense. Now, I'm not going to go through everything here. What I will say is we're entering eclipse season. So this is very, very karmic, very dynamic. And we'll talk about those moons as we move through the month. Also, Venus moves into retrograde on the 2nd. And Mercury moves into retrograde on the 15th. Very interesting when planets move into retrograde, especially at the point when they station direct, the energy is more intense. And also with both Venus and Mercury in retrograde, these are personal planets. The influence is quite personal to us rather than global. So not only do we have a ton of what I would call big global stuff going on, but personally there are going to be some things coming in that want us to slow down and review. Okay, so given the karmic energy of eclipse season, it means that, you know, in kind of real everyday terms, it can suggest that things may show up from the past that we need to attend to in order to empower ourselves in the now to create the shape of the future we want to create. That this really is a month where we can be very conscious about the way that we navigate the energy. The more conscious you are, the more successful you're going to be. Okay, and I think that really is a statement to be thoughtful of, to keep in mind. The more conscious you are, the more successful you'll be. And if you feel really wobbly or the energy is like feeling a bit discombobulated, put down an anchor, get still, drop into stillness, meditate. The more conscious you are, the more successful you'll be. This is definitely a month to respond rather than react. The energy might almost push you to want to react sometimes, but try not to. If you choose not to react and you are able to get still, drop into stillness, ask for guidance, you will be able to receive information, especially with this starting point of a new moon in Pisces. You'll be able to receive the information you need to be able to navigate all of the energy with absolute consciousness. So let's move on and look at this energy through the month. As I said, I'll send a list of these key dates and the void of course dates out to anyone that's on my email lists. I'll do that in the next couple of days. So Moon phase information. This is just showing you the moon phases. And this is kind of how we divide the moon. If we're looking at manifesting with the moon, if you're looking at how you navigate lunar energy, these are the kind of key phases that we look at. We look at the new moon, the waxing crescent, the first quarter, the waning gibbous, then the full moon. The waxing gibbous, then the full moon, then the waning gibbous, then the third quarter or the last quarter, and then the waning crescent moon. And then we start with another new moon. And the moon moves very, very with precise mathematic precise mathematic speed. So we know where she is, what sign she's in, what moon phase she's in, literally on a daily basis, minute to minute. We can look up this information. So let's look at the new moon today. Now, this is a moon that is very much tuned into spiritual awareness. It's also, though, quite dynamic. You know, it's got a distinct flavour of kind of divine timing about it, karmic intervention. So for me, a new moon is always a space of opportunity. It's a time when we traditionally set new moon wishes and new moon intentions. And even though Piscean energy can be quite dreamy, it can also be a little bit confusing sometimes. And because the overall dynamics actually today they're quite fast-paced actually. So I kind of want to just say open your mind. Open your mind and be prepared to potentially change your perspectives in order to sort of set forth on a month when many, many openings and opportunities could come to you, but they're more likely to come to you and you're more likely to achieve success if you are available to hear and see those openings and you are responsive rather than reactive. So this is a day to put wishes and intentions out there. But I would actually say if you're feeling confused or uncertain, set a wish or an intention to ask to receive clarity. You know, we can ask at any time. So sit in this energy. Think mindfully about what you want to achieve. What would you like the universe to deliver for you? Set those wishes and intentions. And because the energy is quite fast-paced, kind of be prepared to notice what's going on, because experiences could arrive today that might even be arriving to help you to fine-tune those wishes and intentions, to be more accurate in terms of what's possible. Or indeed, if there's something you might have either overlooked or something that, if you've got your list and you're too fixed on your list, the universe might give you a nudge and say, well, hang on a minute, what about this? What about that? So open yourself to possibility. That's what I'm going to say with the new moon. Now, new moon timings. The reason I always put new moon timings up as well is because wherever you are on our beautiful planet, it is incredibly useful to know what time the new moon is exactly, because the best time to set a new moon wish is as close to that time as possible, kind of from that moment and for the 8 hours afterwards. It's when the energy is primed. At the time of posting this, I have got up very, very early to do this and to get it up for you. So we are about, probably at the time of actually recording this, we're probably about 4 hours from that exact time. You know, we've got that 8 hour period. It doesn't matter if you set your wishes and intentions a little bit later, but it's just about harnessing the best of the energy if you can. Now, after the new moon, we move into what we call the waxing crescent moon phase. So effectively the moon is starting to get bigger and bigger and bigger till she reaches that quarter moon position when we look in the sky we see a half moon. Now, we have one of those really, really, really big void of course periods. When the moon moves from Aries into Taurus, it's over 20 hours long. So just find the timings in your location. Be conscious of this. This is nearly a day. Now, the energy, I actually wrote some brief notes when I was really preparing for this, and I kind of wanted to say, you know, follow through, but in this moon phase, follow through with anything that you've been shown around the new moon, anything that you need to get going. Follow it through, but again, be responsive rather than reactive. And if there's any kind of wobble in your life, just get still. This is a prime time to, it's kind of like you've set a wish. You've put an intention, a wish into the universe, and now you need to sow some seeds. But you need to sow the right seeds, and you need to sow them in the right flower bed or the right position. It's no good sowing a seed for a plant that needs lots of water in a really dry, sunny position, because it's not going to respond well. And this is the kind of flavour, I think, here. So, but you might also find that the energy pushes you to think, oh, I must plant those seeds. I must do it today. I've only got an hour. I'll do it now. And you rush off and you just sow them in the first piece of ground you can find without reading the packet, without seeing where they need to be placed. So this is what I mean by using the energy responsively, consciously. And this is how best to use this, I think, absolutely. Because this is a time when you can really propel your wishes and intentions in a way that gets them going. So, if you are also finding that you have any, I don't know, any challenging feelings or frustrations, if something isn't running smoothly, remember Venus is moving into retrograde, we're in the Mercury retrograde shadow. It will be because you're being shown something. So going back to my packet of seeds as an example, you know, you've grabbed the seeds, you've got an hour, you know you're going to plant them, and then suddenly it pours with rain and you think, well, I can't plant them now, it's not going to be right. Well, that's because it wasn't right. So put the kettle on, make a cup of tea, get still and read the packet, you know, and then you suddenly think, oh, where I was going to put them was not the right place. I need to put them somewhere else. So the deluge, or whatever, the thunder, the lightning, whatever arrived to stop you from planting those seeds was absolutely a gift. It arrived to make sure that you could actually navigate in a way that would be on track. So rather than leaning into any frustrations or confusion, if anything like that is around you during this moon phase, just listen to it. Get still. What do I need to see? What do I need to get clear about before I move forwards? Now, this leads us to the next, effectively, moon phase, which is the first quarter moon. Now, the first quarter moon on March the 6th is in Gemini. And this energy actually really does support expansion and also enlightenment. And there's a lot of sort of karmic energy around on this day. And I think it's fabulous. A first quarter moon always invites evaluation. Anyway, that's a given. That's the energy. But the dynamics of the day are absolutely primed to give you exactly the information you need in order to proceed and to proceed successfully. So for me, this is probably more a day of reflection and openness to receive than action, okay? Because it really looks like we're going to have a day when we could really see things from all sides, especially with the Gemini energy. See things from everybody's different perspectives, to be able to then evaluate and work out the best way forwards, especially if there's anything going on in your world where there might be differing opinions or opposing thoughts about how to move forwards. Get still, evaluate, review, and ask to see things from every perspective, because the energy is primed to give you exactly this viewpoint, especially with Mercury full on into the shadow, the retrograde shadow, and Venus in Mercury in retrograde as well. You know, this is a really super position to be in actually with this moon, for gaining insight, gaining awareness, gaining, I guess, enlightenment to see what you then need to do. The moon then moves into her waxing gibbous phase. We have a huge void, of course, again, nearly 12 hours between the 11th of March and the 12th of March, when the moon moves from Leo into Virgo. And this whole moon phase covers the period of March the 7th to the 13th. The moon will pass through Gemini, Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. Now, this is quite intense, okay? I just feel like this is a period of time when your buttons might be pressed. I want to say my overall advice, and this is really sitting with this energy and looking at it and leaning into it, I'm going to suggest that you navigate steadily, gently. If you have any concerns, just put an anchor down, because we're looking at the influence of big shifts in this period of time. So whatever happens in your world, It's accelerated growth, big shifts. And yeah, I do feel that things could show up from the past. Buttons could be pressed. The purpose of a button being pressed is for you to identify that it's being pressed because it's your button. You know, people can press your buttons, but they're your buttons. So what are you going to do about it? You know, are you going to process that, make a very clear conscious choice and decide what you're going to do in a way that will be really helpful for you and beneficial for everybody? Or are you going to react? You know, you have a choice in this. And 2025 is all about humanity collectively recognizing that the way that we think, our words, our deeds, our actions, what we say, what we do, what we think, has an impact not only on our own personal lives but on the bigger collective. You know, the purpose astrologically of this monumental phase of transition, of which 2025 is a huge sort of turning point in this shift of energy, is to reach a point where humanity can sit with awareness of the consciousness, awareness of the bigger picture, awareness of our interrelatedness with everyone and everything. You know, we're moving to unity consciousness. We are seeing a lot of opposition to that, you know, and that can be within ourselves. It's not just external events. We are seeing opposition within ourselves, resistance to change, you know, anxiety around change, even though change and transformation are needed. So, in a very personal way, I just think, you know, approach this period with grace. That's the word I want to use. Approach this period with grace. For a lot of people, this is often the most difficult period, the difficult moon phase of the entire moon month, because the energy is rising. The moon is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and building to her fullest. The full moon is like this peak of energy, but it's the build up to that full moon that it's when lots of people experience the energy of the moon in a more personal way. So if your buttons are pressed, they're your buttons. What are you going to do about them? Drop into stillness, put an anchor point down. Try to respond and be really, really thoughtful. Respond with grace. So we then reach the full moon. Now, the full moon, here we are in eclipse season. The full moon is at 23 degrees 56 Virgo. This is on March the 13th or 14th, depending on where you are on our beautiful planet. Now, it's a blood moon, it's a total eclipse, and it's kind of heralding an energy of what is possible, the start of what is yet to come. And it really does arrive and land, as it were, or the energy arrives and lands during this extraordinary surge of planetary activity, especially with the bigger planets that have a global impact. And everything connected to this full moon is about seeing what we need to let go of in order to move forwards. Okay, so we could expect, I think, a lot of revelations and breakthrough moments, light bulb moments, a lot of illumination. Some of this is going to be, wow, this is just amazing. And some of it will maybe a little tougher. Okay, it's going to be a mixed bag, I think. The Virgo energy can really give us precise details. We can know what we need to do, what steps we need to take to move forwards, to have the pathway illuminated. However, Virgo energy can also bring out that inner critic. You know, people can get a little bit pernickety, a bit judgmental, a bit critical in the Virgo energy. You know, Virgos are perfectionists. Actually, if you have a profound perfectionism is part of your remit, that's wonderful, because it means you do a job so well, better than anybody else could do it. But if it leans into the area of criticism and self-criticism, it can become quite disabling. So just be conscious of this around this full moon total lunar eclipse. And because it's an eclipse moon, eclipses, the energy of the eclipse is always a karmic opening. It's as if we enter like a portal of energy where we can look back, understand how the past has influenced and created the present moment, the circumstances around us, and from that we can then evaluate and work out what we want to do right here and right now, in the power of now, in order to then create the future that we wish to see. So it's a really powerful time. Personally, I have every intention on this day of spending at least some time consciously meditating, consciously getting still. Personally, I shall go out on the land. I find there are certain places that I go to at eclipse season every year, always without fail, or twice a year, always without fail. It's for me, it's my way of getting still. It's my way of tuning into the energy. It's my way of opening myself to receive. Do what is right for you. If at the very least you make a date with yourself and have a sight meeting with yourself, I do this on a regular basis, have a sight meeting with yourself. Check in with yourself, review, and ask for illumination, because this is a phenomenal day of potential. What we could be shown in terms of awakening, revelation, breakthrough is really, really potentially significant. So really worthy of being aware of that. If you're rushing or trying to rush through your day in a very sort of blinkered, fixed way, if that's your timetable and you've set it that way, you could actually miss or misinterpret even some of the stuff that goes on. If then things don't run smoothly, it's not because it's trying to cause you a problem, it's because it's trying to give you possibilities. So be very conscious of this energy on this day. Let me bring up the timings for you. These are the timings across our beautiful planet. In the UK here, our full moon is on Friday the 14th of March, 6:54 in the morning. But work out where the timings are for you. Always useful to know this with the full moon, because if you are experiencing that big build up to the full moon and it's feeling really intense, this is the sort of the point of revelation. It's the breakthrough moment. It's the point when the energy sort of opens up and all that tension is like, whoa, this is what I can do with it. That's what I need to let go of. That's what I need to see. So the timing is quite valuable, because this, if you're going to have a sight meeting with yourself, this is probably the best time to have it, actually. Let's move on and then look at the waning gibbous moon, or the disseminating moon. Now, we have another big void of course moon, a very, very, very big one, on the 16th of March to the 17th. This is over 21 hours from Libra into Scorpio. It's huge, absolutely huge. This moon phase runs from March the 15th through to the 21st. The moon will pass through Libra, Scorpio and Sagittarius. Now, I think this moon phase is a bit of a mixed bag. Okay, the first few days have still got that sort of energy of awakening and realization, plus an energy that then kind of inspires you to act. It's as though the full moon has opened things up, revealed things, but then wants you at a karmic level to move something forwards, showing you the purpose. Towards the end of this moon phase, things do steady a bit. So I think it's really worth being aware of this, because if you're coming from the full moon in a place where you're feeling as though everything is really emotionally intense, sit tight and allow yourself to continue to either process those light bulb moments or to be shown more, because the energy will settle. But for me, it does feel both exciting, but also potentially wobbly. It does feel like a roller coaster. I think we could experience both the extreme highs, elation, excitement, to the extreme lows, probably a mixed bag of both, because for most of us, some things in our world will be running amazingly. There will be openings that you have just been longing for, but there'll be other things that are drawing to a close that aren't so great. I think it's going to be a mixed bag. So remember those highs and lows of emotion and try not to be driven by them. Emotions are a driver. They are emotion. If you think of emotion, it's energy in motion. And how we manage our emotions is pretty crucial to our ability to consciously to consciously live, really. So let's move on and have a look at the last quarter moon, the next phase. Now, the last quarter moon is always a time when it's like if the first quarter is a time when we externally are shown what we need to step up into or overcome to move forwards. This is more of an internal kind of reflection. Now, there is quite a lot of tension on this day. The moon is in Capricorn, and Capricorn has quite a structured energy about it. Now, I think that it could be a little bit intense. And so in a way, I think the opportunities that are here today are about really, really thinking about how you handle the energy. How can you, are you walking your talk? Are you being the best version of you? You know, everything in every situation and in every moment, it's the energy is the energy. It's not, it's kind of not what we, it's what we do with the energy. That's the best way of saying it. I kind of almost want to say, use the energy rather than letting the energy use you. That would be the best way, I think, of describing today. And because it's intense, just be conscious of your thoughts, your words, your deeds, your actions, because we are still, you know, we're in eclipse season, and the eclipse season doesn't just happen on the day of the full moon or the new moon eclipses. We are in eclipse season. So we're in this powerful pocket of energy when we can be shown almost like the consequences of our actions, and therefore we can evaluate and decide what we do to change things. We're also, of course, in the energy of the equinox at this point. Now, in the northern hemisphere, this is the spring equinox. In the southern hemisphere, it's the autumn equinox. Solstices, equinoxes, these are turning points. Now, the planets actually are, there's a kind of a balance, there's an alignment at the equinoxes. But I always feel that if you think of the equinoxes not as a specific moment, although there is a point of turn, I think the energy of the equinoxes, if you think of it as a 4-day window, so before and after March the 21st this year, and so we are in, at the last quarter moon, we're in that space. This 4-day window, it's as if the earth herself pauses for breath. And if you really get still, you can feel that shift in energy. So not only do we have a last quarter moon in Capricorn, offering us an opportunity to really think about the consequences of our actions, to empower us in the now, to create the future we desire. That's there in the energy of the last quarter moon. It's also there in the equinox energy, and it's also there in the eclipse energy. So this is absolutely primed for empowerment through, I'm going to call it the choice of awareness, because you know the universe can open endless doors for you or show you endless things. It's what you still got to step through those doors. You've still got to notice what's going on, what you're being shown. So this energy is really, really primed for opportunity, but you kind of need to be present enough to be aware of what you're being shown. So I will probably actually, I think, on this last quarter moon, do some readings. So if you're not subscribed to the channel and you're interested in readings that align with the astrology and with the planetary influences, you know, don't forget to subscribe and press the little bell icon to make sure everything comes into your stream. I think this last quarter is primed for a set of readings, actually. I'll probably call them the equinox readings. But yeah, watch this space on that one. I think this is going to be a perfect time to do some readings. The moon then moves into her last moon phase. We have another big void, of course, period on the 26th of March. This is 9 hours, so not as big as the big 21 hour periods, but nevertheless 9 hours is still a long time. The moon will pass through Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces and into Aries. And the overall flow of energy in this moon phase, it's really embodying the potential. Now the moon, if you think of the moon energy, the lunar energy is slowing down. You know, she's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So this is actually, you know, really, really helpful because it steadies the incoming energy. Now, this moon phase really does sort of embody, I think, the overall energy of what's going on. There's both underlying tension, but also possibility. However, because the lunar energy is slowing down, it helps us, I think, to engage during this period in ways that make our actions very, very mindful and reflective. It's easy to say, let's say in the waxing gibbous moon phase, when the moon is getting bigger and bigger and everything's feeling very intense and explosive, it's easy to say, put down an anchor, be mindful, be conscious, respond rather than react. But we have to really consciously work at that sometimes, because the energy is pushing us to expand and get bigger at a time when the most effective way of using it is to slow down. This is different because the energy of the moon is slowing down. So this helps us to use any underlying tension to create traction. That's what I feel. That would be my sort of saying, I think, if I was going to summarize the words, it would be tension creates traction. You've got to be aware to be able to use that energy. So that's what I'm really seeing in this particular moon phase. We then, of course, get to the next new moon. The next new moon is part of eclipse season. It's a partial solar eclipse. It's in Aries, so it's a biggie because the moon will be passing through all of the huge astrological collaborations and connections that are happening, the real biggies, that are all happening on that cusp of Pisces and Aries. So this is huge. We also have a big void of course period aligning with this new moon, literally just afterwards actually. So the new moon is in Aries. When the moon then moves from Aries into Taurus, we have an 11-hour void of course period. Now I'm not going to go into the details of this new moon because I will cover this in the next moon month video. So if you want information on this, it will show up in about a month's time. I'll be doing this along with readings, of course. So beautiful souls, thank you for sitting through this part of this video. I hope it's really helpful to you. Navigating with the moon, manifesting with the moon is truly, it's an extraordinary thing. It's really, really empowering when you really know what the moon is doing. And you're listening to the way that energy influences you. Thank you, all of you who have purchased my Manifest with the Moon Astro Moon Diary. I'm really, really honoured that you're using it, and thank you for the feedback. I know some of you are really actively working with it. It's a tool. It's there to help you to learn how to work with the moon. Everything you need to know is in that diary. All the information you need to know how this works, and also the key dates throughout the year and the energy updates throughout the year for you to navigate literally on a daily basis, to have that information at your fingertips. So thank you, all of you who've purchased that book, and yeah, blessings to you all. Let's now move into the readings. Let's draw cards and look at what is happening for you in the month of March. Hey Moon Magic Super Souls, welcome to today's readings. We're asking what is happening for you in March, and wow, it is a huge, huge month. It really, really is. So, beautiful souls, for those of you who were listening to the energy update for the month, you will already know it's a huge month. If you have come straight to the readings, welcome. Now, we have 3 piles for you to choose from. I've got some beautiful independent creator cards, which I absolutely love. I love promoting independent creators. I will put the link to all the cards in the description below, including including the link to the website for this person. Now, pile 1, you have the card 19 Moolah. This is your first card, pile 1. I will be drawing runes in the readings. Sometimes I draw runes at the beginning of a reading. For those of you that love the runes, I'm going to draw them in the readings themselves. You also have the carnelian pendulum. Okay, that is for pile 1. Pile 2, you have card number 16, Vishaka. This is what it looks like. And you have the pendulum of gold aventurine. This is what it looks like. So that is for pile 2. Pile 3, you have card number 26, Uttara Bhadrapada. This is what it looks like. Okay, and you have the Moonstone pendulum. Okay, so that is pile 3. So, beautiful souls, as always, welcome. It's wonderful to be connecting with you all, and especially at this monumental time of one of the most powerful months in one of the most powerful years. So, let's see what's happening for you. My lovely Moon Magic Super Souls, I'm going to leave the video running just for a little bit longer to give you a bit more time. If you feel you are drawn to more than one reading, it may well be that there is more than one message for you. I would just follow through if that's the case. So, beautiful souls, I will see you in the readings. I'm like, really, I'm almost sitting on the edge of my chair. It's like, whoa, what's going to be happening this month? I'm going to get as much detail as I possibly can for you for this coming month, because it really is a biggie. So check in on more than one if it's calling to you, but I will see you in the readings in just a moment. And thank you so much for being here. Pile 1, welcome to your reading. Now, this is a very interesting energy with Mula, because this is quite hard hitting, actually, I'm going to say. It kind of like takes us to the root of things so that we can transform, commit to transformation. Carnelian, it's interesting, of course, as an energy in your pendulum, is about seeing something through to the finish line, being able to persevere, actually, and sometimes against all odds, but it gives you the energy of cutting to the chase. You know, Carnelian does what it says on the tin. There's no messing around. There's something that's very strong in your reading. Let's find out what this is about. So something is happening in March. Feels very strong. It could be your own spiritual awakening. But let's see what else we are shown here. May we inquire for pile 1, what is happening in March for pile 1, or what guidance, information needs to come through for pile 1. I'm seeing all of those. Let's go with it. Let's go with that. Okay. Let's turn your cards over. So, oh wow, look at this. You have Raven's Head. You have Resin. Okay. Now, resin is fascinating. Let me move my beautiful talking stick up here a little bit and make some more space, because these are big cards. Okay. Immediately, what I'm seeing here is you getting to the truth of something, getting to the truth of the matter. If you think about resin, it's quite remarkable, because what is coming to my mind as I'm looking at this card is the beautiful amber fossils that you get with like an insect inside the amber. Once it was a molten, literally a molten rock, I suppose, and you can get crystals of amber, and you can see that insect with absolute clarity. Something that got trapped in time. Any crows, ravens, they signify navigating between the worlds. And of course, we are in eclipse season. If you didn't watch the energy update at the start, you might want to. I just feel, pile 1, you're going to get to the bottom of something. You're going to see something in March. Something that was, in many ways, created a long time ago. The value is that you can almost sort of destroy, it's like destroying that myth. Now we have Be Magnetized as well. We have Beaver Spirit, Lay a Solid Foundation. We have Cancer, I Feel. Scorpio, I Transform. And then the Grand Cross Provoker. Aha. Okay. Wow. Wow, wow, and more wow, pile one. Okay. I think you are going to see something, but I do feel you will be provoked into seeing it, or circumstances will arrive, especially with the energy of Mula. It's quite hard hitting, will arrive in a way that is, I sort of think I want to say there's no denying it. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean it's negative, but it's hard hitting, it's powerful. So you're going to see something in no uncertain terms. I do think there's an energy with Scorpio I transform, that it is, you're going to see something, and the purpose of seeing it with great clarity is so that you can transform it. If we think of the energy of Pluto, which rules Scorpio, you know, Pluto's like the demolition team arriving. You know, it's like whatever does not serve you anymore must go. You know, it's like the demolition team. They walk into a building and it's like, no, that's not working. That's got to go. That's got to go. That's got to go. Oh, you know, if that bit's okay, we'll keep it, but everything else is going. Hard hitting, to the point. This isn't gentle transformation. This is hard hitting transformation. So it's seeing something with great clarity that creates an opportunity for you, or pushes you, provokes you into doing something. Now, the doing something is the interesting bit. I mean, because you've got be magnetized, you've got lay a strong foundation. Beavers work. Carnelian is an energy that gets you to the finish line. It gives you perseverance. It gives you staying power. So you see something is to be shown to you. I think you need to see it. It's really important. You need to see it in order to transform it. It could be any element of your personal life. Any element of your personal life that isn't really working for you anymore, you're going to be shown it in no uncertain terms, to the point where it's kind of, you can't just sit and look at it and pretend it's not there anymore. This is like, you know, finally someone says, do you know there's a really big elephant in the room? And it's like, yeah, I know, I've seen it. It's been there for a long time, years and years and years. Everyone's been stepping over it and going around it. But this time there's no going around it. Maybe the elephant has been there and has eaten so much, it's so big, it just cannot be avoided anymore. So there's something in your reading that's coming through in that way. Now, I feel I want to draw 2 more oracle cards for here, and then I'm going to draw your tarot cards. And the ones that I'm really drawn to are actually this first pack that we were using. I do list the cards below if they are of interest to you. Okay, conjunction, conjunctio. Okay, look at the infinity symbol we're getting here. And I'm seeing these colours of black and white. I'm seeing this one coming through for you as well. And separation. Okay. Well. So, pile 1. This is a coming together. This is a parting company. Be magnetized. What I see, very, very interesting here, is that the wake-up call, almost, the thing that you can't avoid anymore, is nudged into your perception, or shoved into your perception, however it arrives, by a contrasting experience. Something that has been moving along or not working, it's nudged into your experience by an alternative transformational experience. This would be, for example, if you were, let's say you're living in a shared house. I'm coming up with random examples, but let's say you're living in a shared house and it's actually not working brilliantly. You know, you give more than you receive. People, you know, people aren't really resonating with you. People don't clean up, and you're the one that cleans up after everyone. You know, this is, and you kind of know it, but you just don't want to do the challenge. You don't want to do the confrontation. You know, it's sort of, do you know, it's just easier. It's easier just to let it tick over. Don't want to know, just let it tick over. It'd be so much easier just to not pursue it. But somehow something comes along. Now, either someone comes along to help you to see it, or someone comes along. If we're using that example, this would be like you suddenly find you meet a new friend, and they're in a shared house, and you go over there, and it's so different. Oh, it's like, oh, it's light, it's fun, people are good fun, everybody's chipping in, everybody's pulling their weight. They've got a rota, and someone suddenly comes in, you're talking to your friend, and they're like, I'm so sorry, I'm going to be away on the week when it's my rota to clean. Can anybody swap with me? You know, there's a willingness to engage, a willingness to take responsibility, and you're like, whoa, this is so worlds apart. And then you suddenly discover that actually they've got a vacancy coming up. Someone's moving, and they say, "Well, why don't you? Would you fancy moving here?" And it's like, whoa, it's a no-brainer. So there's something that comes in as a contrast, something that says to you, there is something better. I can do this differently. So it's really interesting. I feel like this is the transformation. Something is giving way because it really, really doesn't serve you anymore. It's not working for you. It is like, it's something that maybe it was once appropriate for you, but it isn't anymore. It does not have a long-term future, but something else is coming in that shows you that it does, which is really, really interesting. Let's draw your tarot cards and see what we are shown. May we ask for information about the month of March for pile 1, please? Okay. May I kindly ask for information for pile 1? Seeing this, seeing those two, seeing that one and that one. I think that's it for the moment. We'll see, we may draw more. Now the card that showed itself was the moon. Illuminated by the moon. Now, seeing this as a lone wolf as well, the energy of lone wolf coming through here. We have 5 of Cups. We have Knight of Swords. We have 9 of Wands. We have 6 of Swords. We have 2 of Wands. 3 of Wands. So we've got a nice progression happening. 4 of Wands, wowzer, and the Hanged Man. Okay, right. I want another card here. Just one more. Just one more. May we kindly have one more card, please? May we kindly have one more card? We have the 3 of Cups. Fantastic. Okay. This is very interesting. So, the elephant in the living room, whatever this is, there's something that you kind of don't want to admit to yourself that becomes visible, and there's no way around it. And I think probably because it's something that's been there for quite a long time, I think most of you kind of will know what that is. If it's not resonating with you, this might not be the right reading for you. Because this is sort of one of those times when it's going to be illuminated. And there is a realization that you actually have to take action. You can't really sit with this any longer. This would be like living with somebody who keeps saying sorry, but they never mean it. And you know they don't mean it because actually every time they say sorry, they then go and do it again. And so, you know, actions speak louder than words. There's a real realization here. Now, the purpose of the realization is so that you can get clear and take action. It's interesting looking at, you know, reflecting on the energy of the overall energy of the moon month. You know, there are pockets of time when we are clearly being asked to review, to reflect, to respond, when there could be tension. The purpose of the tension is to give you traction. I'm seeing you ultimately kind of recognizing you have to walk away from something. We've got the Nine of Wands and the Six of Swords. And the Six of Swords, when you get to the Six of Swords, you know that you need to move forwards. You have your eyes fixed on a new goal or a new opportunity. You just know. You know that you're ready to move ahead, and you start to move. Now, what I'm seeing here in the flow of energy pile 1 is that this isn't without conflict, okay? Now, I'm not voicing this in a negative way, because we've got the Three of Wands, the Four of Wands, the Hanged Man, and the Three of Cups. So we've got a really good progression. You're going to get to where you need to be, and you're going to be in a very good place. But initially, it almost for me feels as though it's like, again, I think it's just because of the trigger. You know, the Two of Wands is a card of power, of movement. Look at the tension here. The tension creates action. You know, there are many different packs of cards that I use, and this is one of the few Two of Wands that comes with such an energy of, you know, like pushing against something. But I think this is partly, it's part and parcel of the process. I think in a way there is a kickback, but I think the kickback confirms that what you're doing is right. Okay, so if there's a kickback, I would say view it as an affirmation that you've made the right choice, rather than as a sort of a, oh, perhaps I shouldn't have done that. Okay. This is definitely something you need to... I just think this is one of those turning points when there's no going back, when you just know you can't do that anymore, or you can't live with that anymore. That's it. It's like, it's a done deal. It's not possible for you to sit with this anymore. You can't stay in this situation. You can't remain in this either relationship, situationship, circumstance, whatever it is, big or small. You can't sit with it. The root of the matter is shown to you. You can see it in no uncertain terms. And as I said, for some of you, part of what shows up to help you to see it is something that is so much better. I think this is a month where you get clear about the fact that something has to change. That's what we see. It's something that has been very fixed, and maybe it served you very well for a period of time, but it's not serving you anymore. Something needs to stop, whatever this is. I'm going to draw from another tarot pack for you, actually, and just get a bit more information around the circumstances of this. But overall, for the flow of March, even though there is almost like a little bit of resistance to change, ironically enough, it gives you, I mean, look at this figure. Following the Two of Wands, and there is a lovely progression, 2, 3, 4, very unusual to get that kind of progression in the cards. And I shuffle these cards really well before I use them. And I have used this pack, you know, literally probably hundreds of times before. So it's not like it could be in that order because it's a new pack. 2, 3, 4. Look at the I am moving forwards energy of this. It's like I'm just going, it's like the hand says no. I am doing this. This is what I'm doing. I'm seeing something happen that causes you to renew your dedication and your perseverance to making this, to moving this forwards and to making this happen, which is a cool thing. A cool thing, because something that is fixed and set needs to become unset. With the Four of Wands, I'm seeing you make that commitment. For some of you, if you are exiting an unhealthy relationship, it's highly likely that there will be somebody else on the agenda, if I'm honest. I think even though technically we could say emotionally it's not an ideal scenario to move from one relationship straight to another, because we doesn't always give us enough time and energy to process the emotions. But I feel like you have been living with a situation that isn't okay for so long that you have long processed this. All that's happened is that someone has come along and it's nudging you to move on from something that you have, I think, you've kind of actually processed a long time ago. Even the Hanged Man in this pack, is a card of, it's a card of complete surrender. The Hanged Man is a card of surrender anyway, where we just sort of trust. This is compelling. It's magnetic. The new is magnetic, which is rather lovely, whatever this is. If you realise you can't stay where you're living, for example, something else shows up and it's like you just surrender. You surrender to the universe. It's like, do you know what? I give this to you. I'm trusting that this is going to be okay. It's got a real sense of, trusting and allowing and knowing that the universe will support you. Let's use a different pack of tarot cards and draw more for you. Okay, pile one, let's get more information. What is it that, let's get more information about the circumstances. I'm seeing 2 lots of 3, and then I'm seeing this and these 2. We've kind of got 3 lots of 3 coming through. I wonder if these are different situations. Let's check these out. Okay, so we have the Hierophant, we have the card of Temperance, and we have the 4 of Pentacles. Okay, those are your first 3 cards. What is it that absolutely happens here? First and foremost, let me just move these out of our way for a moment so we can see the rest of our cards. First and foremost, this is unequivocally guided with the Hierophant card. I almost feel like this is a divine intervention. This is very interesting. Even though there's something that you might have preferred not to see, that you would have sat with, remained with. It is a divine intervention. For some of you, there could be some financial matters or some health issues or something around, it's like the substance of your life, finances, money, your home world, like your community or, where you're living. There is definitely that flavour here. There's a divine intervention that gives you an alternative. And the alternative is absolutely worthy of following. What are your second 3 cards? Okay, how interesting. We have the Page of Cups. This is so fascinating. We've got the 2 of Wands again, but what a different energy in the 2 of Wands. And we also have the 2 of Pentacles. Everything that's happening in your unique circumstances is actually about bringing your world back into balance. We've got the Temperance card in balance. We have the 2 of Pentacles in balance. Okay, I feel like these 3 cards are talking to us about money or finances or health. There's something going on around you that isn't actually working for you. And you would have possibly stayed with it. Something that you had actually made a commitment to already. But in all honesty, you need to move on. It's not going to work. Now, the Page of Cups, 2 of Wands, 2 of Pentacles, this energy of moving forwards. This really, for these 3 cards, is telling me that for some of you, it's almost like there are bigger fish to fry. Like for some of you, an opportunity presents itself, which is almost like it throws your world upside down because you have to cut cords and move on. You have to separate from something. But it's such an opportunity. Why would why wouldn't you? Why would you stay with something when you can move on and have something better? Whereas for others, I feel like I'm seeing 2 sides of this coin, the elephant in the living room versus the amazing opportunity. We then have 5 of Cups. Here's your card of disappointment. We have the Queen of Cups. Gosh, and we have the Nine of Swords. I wonder if for some of you there's something that feels quite difficult to get out of. And back to our Two of Wands here, some resistance to this. Quite difficult to break away from something. And yet, your reading is suggesting that it is worthy of breaking away and free falling into the new. Yeah, you've got the Hanged Man again, which again is just that same card of surrender. And we have the World. This is really, really, really identifying that this is worthy of... The change needs to happen. It's why Mula is quite hard-hitting. The perseverance, the energy of Carnelian, is not about persevering in your current situation. It's persevering and navigating through the change. That's what this is worth doing. That's what this is about. Yeah, look at this. Be clear, be decided, like make your mind up, be clear-cut, take charge. Own your own sovereignty. Take charge of your own choices. And look, we started off with the crow, and look at the crow or the raven sitting above him. This is about being really clear about what is right. There's a launching into the new that you're going to be celebrating this. And I do think as well with the Knight of Wands, your final card, this is going to happen quite quickly. This isn't the energy is not hanging around, okay, in March. What I'm seeing, pile one, is that once you make your mind up, I think things, even though there is friction around it, I think it feels like this is a difficult choice. But I suspect your worries about this are bigger than the actual happening. I mean, with the Nine of Swords, it very often is an indication that we are overthinking something or over-worrying something. With the Queen of Cups, it's fascinating because this is really showing us, you know, the energy that I spoke about in the first part of this video, which is get still. If you're not sure, if you're having a wobble, if you're feeling confused, get still, give yourself an anchor point and open yourself to receive. You'll be shown everything you need to see along the way. Absolutely everything will be shown to you. Back to this first card here, you know, with the wolf. Everything will be illuminated for you. Pile one, there's a very distinct flow of energy. Beautiful souls, I've got to say how I see it. I have to voice it. Now, I think that there will be a very big decision or choice that you make to end one thing that no longer works for you. And embrace a pathway that will come to fruition and will be really good. I do think there is a process to go through. The very first part of the process is actually making that choice and acknowledging that something isn't working. And I just think that circumstances are going to show you this. Now, they're either going to show it to you because you'll just not be able to continue with something, or they'll be shown to you because you'll see something else and you'll think, wow, this is so much better. Okay, you can't really deny this. You know, this is something that is very real for you. If this is not resonating, this may not be the right reading for you. But this is like really trusting and surrendering to the universe. Surrendering to knowing that this is the right choice and the right decision, and it's the right thing that you're supposed to do. That's what we're seeing here. My beautiful, beautiful pile ones, I am sending you so much love. It is a biggie. March is a biggie. It really, really is. And what is coming is so fruitful. You're being magnetically drawn to the place where you're meant to be, the place where you can celebrate, the place where you can experience joy and success. And rightfully so. So whether this is connected to love or some health situation where maybe you need to look elsewhere for a different treatment or get a second opinion, or There is something to do with your living circumstances, however this is landing in your world. This is a month where I do feel what happens is a divine intervention, because it's really important that it changes. Try not to worry. Get still. You'll be supported. Now, we haven't drawn your runes. Let's draw your runes just to see what else we are shown. Yeah, look at that. The one rune that shows up, the first is the rune of harvest, showing us that there is a fruitful outcome coming your way. We then have the blank rune. So this is a space of possibility. This is actually meant to happen. It's creating possibility. We have Suelo. Suelo is the rune of wholeness. It's like this is the path you must follow. And lastly, we have fertility, indicating that the new pathway is absolutely right for you. Fertility is interesting because it has an energy of both endings and beginnings. So it means that one thing is ending in order for the new to begin. This is absolutely fabulous. Really, really fabulous. Not easy throughout the month. I'm going to say Moolah is hard hitting. It may not be the easiest thing to kind of step up to, but the outcome, my beautiful pile one, is really, really great. Pile one, keep us posted in the comments. Thank you for being here. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing. Don't forget to subscribe, press the little bell icon. Don't forget to check out your monthly zodiac sign readings on my new channel, Moon Magic Monthly Tarot, and beautiful souls. Just tons and tons and tons of love. Pile number 2, welcome to your reading. So what is happening for you in March? This is such a phenomenal month. Your card, Vishaka, is actually about ambition. So I'm actually seeing these two on the top and this card for you. Let's see what we are shown for this monumental, very, very, very interesting month that we are about to embark upon. What is happening for my pile twos? What is happening for my pile twos in March, please? May we have information, guidance. What is happening for my pile twos in March? I'm seeing these two. Perfect. You know, I knew there were two. Wonderful. Okay, so we have the uncreated in creatum. Okay, we have Jupiter. Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay. And then we have oil of vitriol. This is very, very fascinating. Okay. We also have consciously complete. Ah, gosh, this is so in alignment with the energy that we've just been speaking about in the first part of this video. Snake spirit, time to heal. Okay, let's see if we can move that along. I'm sure we can. How interesting. And we have Jupiter. We have Jupiter in this card. This card is really connected to Jupiter. Jupiter in Libra and Jupiter in Scorpio. It's really interesting. There's two elements to this as well, actually. To Vishaka, it's like ambition and purpose, persistence. The two branches of this, if we think of the branch of this about Libra, it's moving forwards with purpose, you know, with balance, expanding with the Jupiter energy. I think with the Scorpio part, it's like we dive deep and we kind of, if you think of Scorpio energy is often embracing power. I think with Libra, I think any power struggles, that's what's coming through here. Time to heal and oil of vitriol. What this is actually telling me, my beautiful souls, is that there's been something quite recently that has been a bit of a bitter pill to swallow. And I think that there is a need to heal from it or to move on from it, but also to set your sights beyond it. See, you also have creativity. You have the uncreated and creativity, 5th house. You have consciously complete. You have the element of air, communicating. Okay, I'm going to place these just here. Let's draw some tarot cards. What I see here in March for you, I think something comes to an end. And I'm thrilled to say it. That's what's really coming through strongly. Look at this gateway. If I just tune into this in a completely intuitive way, you are meant to expand. You are meant to grow. There is an ambition that you are meant to bring forth. But something has got in the way of it or stopped you from fulfilling your, almost like your highest purpose. Now, whatever that was for you, it could be with the masks here, that you have met people who were not entirely who they said they were. I actually feel, that's what I'm really seeing here. You've come across circumstances where, I'm also going to say possibly the wool was pulled over your eyes. If I think of the sort of astrological collaborations, there's been a lot of misinformation in the world. And, you know, whether you look at that from a global perspective where we see differences of opinions and perspectives, but actually personally, and I think this is personal to you, this is a personal reading, although it's reaching many people, it's still nevertheless a reading for you. You've been given some misinformation, and it was a bitter pill to swallow. You need to spit it out, but you also need to move on from it. You know, don't hang around in this energy, because there are bigger fish to fry here, you know. You need to consciously and with full awareness complete. Say what you need to say, whether it's to yourself or to others. This is a time to be really, really clear-cut about something, because you need to move something forwards. There is creative energy available for you and expansive energy available. This is definitely a time for you to, with clear-cut precision, maybe even make some decisions, communicate them clearly, and also then move on. Get creative. There's a lot of creative energy around you. There's something that hasn't yet been done, or you haven't yet created, or you haven't yet fulfilled, or hasn't yet expanded as it should. And whatever has blocked you, you need to close the door and heal. But the closing the door, when we say no to something and we move on from it, you may already have moved on from something already. The deal here, I feel, that's coming through is not... It's not about, it's the bit that comes afterwards, you know, when you close the door to something, but you mull it over, you go over and over it. Could I have done it differently? You know, that, and this is the bit that needs to be clear cut. Not investing your energy in going over and over something, but investing your energy in moving beyond it. Just clear your headspace and move on with what you're meant to be doing. There's a real clarity around this reading. Very, very extraordinary energy. We have the Lovers. Okay, so this is about choices. Now, the Lovers is fundamentally a card of choice in its primary position. And the Two of Wheels. This is like, get yourself back into balance. Make a decision. Whatever it was that you were uncomfortable with, whatever it was that pulled the wool over your eyes, whatever it was that you were engaged in that just was, it left you with a bad taste in your mouth. It's time. Don't look back, look forwards. It's time to bring your life into a point of balance where you are creating. I mean, this is a very creative position to be standing in on a wheel here. Let me show you this card. Look at how balanced, how poised he is. He's poised, and you know, with the Two of Wheels, he's poised to create. You know, he is able to create. It's a very creative card in terms of manifesting in real terms, doing the work, making it happen. This is like make it happen, move on. It's really clear cut. It's interesting that the Vishaka has an energy about it as well. where it kind of also says, you know, don't be so goal-driven that you kind of almost like forget that you trample on other people to get there. And it's really funny that just came into my mind as I'm like saying, you know, come on, get to it, go to it, go for it. Don't waste your time on this, move on. And I feel almost like I was like, you know, slightly riding roughshod over your feelings, which is really, you know, against, if I put my therapy hat on, that's sort of the opposite of what we do. We really acknowledge how people feel. You know, we don't sit there and think, oh, for goodness sake, you know, it's not put a smile on your face and get on with it. So I want to be really clear. It's not that kind of energy. It's not dismissing how you feel, but it's kind of saying, don't let that hold you back. You know, if somebody was deceptive, if somebody was not upfront, if somebody dealt you something that left a bad taste in your mouth, then do yourself the honour of letting it go and moving forwards, giving yourself absolute conscious permission to complete and move on, because they've taken enough of your energy already. So even though I felt almost caught up in the energy of this card, your significator card, really, it's really about honouring your feelings and honouring you and your purpose and the thing you are meant to be creating, by not allowing it to drag you down or hold you back. They took enough energy already, okay? So that's, you know, and if you have a moment, validate your feelings, honour them, and then make a clear choice. Well, that's what this reading is suggesting. Then make a clear-cut choice. Do you know what? I am not going to let you hold me back. You know, onwards and upwards. I have a purpose, I have a calling, I have a mission, I have something to do. So that's the kind of energy. It's not riding roughshod over your feelings under any circumstances. We have, oh, this is interesting. We have 10 of Wands, so this is the end, I think. I love that this 10 of Wands has a blindfold. You know, here we have somebody who's carrying all of these responsibilities, but also hasn't seen something. And then we have the Judgment card. Okay, what I am going to say for some of you, let me move these along to make sure we can get those into your view. Yeah, we can. Good. For some of you, this is actually still around you. At the time of doing this reading, you know, we are literally about to head into March, but we're not in March yet. We are literally about to. We're right at the end of February. And so I think this is actually still very much around you. And so there is a need for you to look at what you are currently carrying. Look at the load. This isn't about blindly moving forwards, but I do think I think you're not actually sure. This is obviously a reading that will reach many. For some of you, I think you're not exactly sure how to call this shot. I think you know you probably need to, but you're not exactly sure how to do it. I'm going to actually draw from another tarot pack, and let's get some very specific advice about this. Okay, let's ask about how you navigate. May we specifically very kindly ask, how do Pile 2 navigate during March, navigate through this situation, and also how do they consciously complete? Can we please ask how this can be done, or for advice and guidance around this, please? May we kindly ask for advice and guidance. Okay, 2 of Cups. How interesting. And we have the 10 of Wands showing up again. Okay. Then we have the 9 of Pentacles. Then we have the Sun. We have the 5 of Swords. We have the Death card. Okay, and then we have the 6 of Pentacles. Lovely. Okay. So we do have some very clear guidance, and I'm kind of seeing a flow of energy through the month for you, through the month of March. So firstly, I think some help is coming in for you. I do think looking at the Two of Cups here, I think assistance will be given to you. Now, if you are needing assistance and you don't think it is around you, then I would really, really open yourself and ask. Literally ask out loud. Ask your angels, ask your guides. May I please request some assistance with this? But I actually feel someone probably will come in to assist you or support you in this. Now, the move, I really do see you leaving something. You may actually already, as I said earlier, some of you may be in the process of kind of walking away from something that's left you with a bitter pill or a bad taste in your mouth. For others, you are moving. You're literally going to be making that decision and moving forwards. You may even be in the middle of that transition. But I am seeing this happening early on. It feels very present, actually, and as if it hasn't started, the move, the transfer hasn't started, the transition, someone will come in and assist you with this. So that's really, really clear. Now, the Nine of Pentacles, I do see you picking up very, very quickly. The Nine of Pentacles is a kind of, it's like a card that says result. You know, you get a good result. You get a result that's almost even better than you thought you were going to get, which is fantastic. This is then the aftermath, because I think this is exactly what this reading is kind of tuning in with in the first instance, which is healing from this, not allowing it to drag you down, not going over and over it. Because this is, and also, gosh, another message coming through. This would be like if you had someone pulled the wool over your eyes, somebody left you with a, you know, you didn't see the truth of them, and that now you do, and you're moving on. But then, of course, as you enter a new opportunity, which looks very exciting with the sun, it's like a part of you is questioning whether the same thing will happen again, or whether, you know, there's definitely some sort of return to the energy of what's happened. And you're really being invited with the Death and Rebirth card to look ahead. Do not focus on the past. Look ahead. It's interesting, I was listening to a channeling the other day, and it was a conversation. Someone was in conversation, and please forgive me, I can't remember. I think it was somebody called Anne, and she was in conversation with Pam Gregory, the astrologer Pam Gregory. I'll see if I can put a link in the description box for you, if I can find it. In fact, let me just make a note of that so I don't forget. But in that channeling, you know, there was a lot of emphasis on how do we deal with the shadow stuff that's going on around us. You know, our own shadow stuff. We can dive in and we can process that. But we also need to be holding this sort of higher perspective of the light in order to actually transition through this phenomenal space of upgrade to higher and newer levels of consciousness. And I feel this is sort of part of this in a way, in a very human way. This is how do we deal with the stuff that isn't okay, because we very often dwell on it or go back over it or feel that we can't, you know, or we're fearful it will happen again. You know, putting my therapy hat on, this is actually just the way that we tend to be. It's something that human beings do. We're very unique in this way. Most animals don't do this. You know, I think I wrote a book about emotions and how to use the most challenging emotions as a source of empowerment. And actually, you know, if you look at sort of like fear and anxiety, which are connected, you know, if you think of a herd of zebras, let's say, or deer or something, and they're grazing peacefully, and then, you know, out comes a pack of lions who are going to hunt and kill because that's what they need to do to eat. But that they don't overkill, they're not greedy, they're not going to take out the whole herd out of pure greed. They take just what they need. There is a balance. And, you know, after this has happened, the zebras and the deers actually settle down relatively quickly. They're not constantly walking around looking over their shoulder every minute of every day. They move into high alert when they need to, and then they relax when they need to. We don't. We go into high alert when something goes wrong, and then we stay in high alert, and we go over and over and over. What could we do differently? Will it happen again? What if this? Could I have done that? And we go over and over and over. Or why did they do that? Why did that person do that? Why would they do that to me? And all the time we're going over and over it, we are holding ourselves within that reference point of it's like within the vibration of the emotional hurt. And it's really, I fully acknowledge, I've worked with literally thousands of people over the years to navigate and process trauma and difficulty. And so we can absolutely do it. But we really do need to reach a point where we acknowledge how we feel, but then we give ourselves permission to be focused on more. We don't keep going back to try and get an apology from someone who actually is not going to apologize. We move on. We stop wasting our energy. We stop investing our energy because it holds you back. And this is a time when you are meant to be creating. There is something for you to create. There is something amazing. So there's a whole scenario or a situation going on around you. And all of the guidance coming through in this reading for me is all about processing something and letting it go so that you are fully free and available to move on. And we have the Six of Pentacles, which is a card of generosity, suggesting, that resources will come to you to support you. So if the moving through something, for most of you, it means walking away from something or someone or a circumstance or a situation, what you need will be given to you. So if you're looking for a replacement for something, or you're needing something, you're walking away from one thing, the new will come to you. It will come to you very, very easily. Your focus here actually is more to do with what you're meant to be creating, and that's what I'm now going to focus on. So we've kind of looked at this bit, and this is the two sides of this card. It's almost like there's two elements to your reading. So pile 2, let's look at what you are meant to be focusing on. Let's look at the creativity. Let's look at the future. Let's look ahead. What is it that the month of March is bringing for you that you actually are being asked to connect with, to focus on? What are we being shown here? Okay, so Knight of Pentacles. So this is very much about moving forwards. And also, I'm going to sort of say in abundance, it's curious with the Knight of Pentacles. It does make me think that this is more work orientated for most of you. We have the Queen of Wands. We have the Ace of Cups. We have the Four of Cups. Ooh, we do have the Lovers as well. We have the Judgment card. Woo, and then you have the King of Pentacles. Woo, the King of Manifestation. How exciting. Okay. Whatever this is, whether you are walking away from a personal situation or a working situation, let's say, love and intimacy relationships, I think there's probably a relationship, involved, simply because relationship could be your relationship to a business, your relationship to a person, to a colleague, to a lover. What is happening here is that there is a new beginning here for you. We've got the Lovers, which is that card of choice, showing up again. We've got Judgment showing up again. In this Judgment card, I really see a liberation. I see the freedom. In fact, both of these Judgment cards really indicate freedom from something. This is really fabulous because I think you can leave something behind for good here, including the baggage that's attached to it, which is lovely. Now, the Queen of Wands is the Queen of transformation. She's amazing. She doesn't lose sight of the past, but she absolutely knows that her actions in the present are creating the shape of her future. She is magnificent. She's a magnificent figure. Knight of Pentacles, I'm seeing you consciously move forwards and take physical actions to move your situation forwards and to invest in something new. So this is your creativity. It's something you love. For some of you, this could be whatever the relationship is. If it's a loving relationship with someone, if it's a friendship, if it's a colleague. Now, the Four of Cups interests me bang in the middle. What is this about? I mean, this is a stationary energy. Why do we have this sitting here? What is this about? I'm going to ask for more guidance about this because everything here is saying, that's your message coming through. I'm hearing now. Thank you. Take some time. It's a very stationary energy. Be steady in how you move forwards. You know, this is now, it's like be kind to yourself. Don't criticize yourself or judge yourself again, or look back in a way that tangles you. There will be moments when you look back, of course there will. It's part of the process of moving forwards. We look back, and as things are emerging, as you are investing, you are going to look back and think, gosh, that was such a shame. But it's fine. It's fine. It is what it is, and other people's pathways are their own. And that's why take it, be steady, but also absolutely commit to an investment in the new. There is literally an opportunity here for you to move something forwards that has previously been held back by circumstances, people, and stuff that was not okay. So you are now in a place in March when you can physically move something forwards and achieve it, whatever that may be. Whether this is a relationship of love or a work project, whatever it is, you can achieve this and really get to a point of genuine kind of satisfaction and feeling like you are kind of at the top of your game, I feel, really, in this. So your reading is very clear. There's a lot in it about the kind of emotional stuff that goes on when we process something, let it go and move on. But this is really, offering you almost like a quickening of expansive energy, which is interesting because it's actually saying sort of go for it. Don't hold yourself back. Sometimes a reading will say pause and consider, take time to reflect before you move on. This is just saying move on. Move on. Be ambitious. You have something that you want. Go after it. Go after it, and don't let whatever has been holding you back continue to do so. Don't feed it. That's what we're being shown here. Pile 2, this is your reading. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that the energy update, for those of you that watched it, have found it helpful and interesting. Beautiful souls. Thank you so much also for liking, sharing, subscribing, for giving back through the super thanks in the comments. All of your contributions and your presence here really helps to keep the channel going and helps me to continue to put readings into the world for free. So thank you so much. Tons and tons of love to you all. Pile 3, welcome to your reading. Let's find out what's happening in March for you. I am seeing these 2 cards. I'm also seeing that one there. We'll draw your oracle cards first and find out in this extraordinary month what is happening for you. What can we be shown? What advice, guidance, information can we be shown for my pile 3s for the month of March? We have another card here. And lastly, I am seeing this one and this one actually, and also this one. 3 from that pack. Okay, let's see what we have. So you have smoke, you have resin, okay, and you have gold. Okay. You then have play. That is a really lovely card. This very much reminds me actually of the Three of Cups actually. Like a card of celebration, a card of chilling out, a card of enjoyment. And you have gold. Okay. Sweet results await. Well, definitely we're going for gold here. This looks great. And then we have Path of Fortune, increase. Okay. Jupiter returns benefits, fire element, desire. Ooh, okay. Well, pile 3, this is looking pretty fantastic. However, it's not a negative, however, but we have smoke and we have resin. Resin is something that, it's like liquid that has solidified. Something that was fluid comes together. Fumus smoke is the card that I'm really interested in. I'm just going to ask about this. I'm just going to grab some tarot cards. Can we have some more information about Fumus, please? Can we find out a little bit more about just the energy of this one card, please? What is this saying to us in this reading, please? What is smoke saying to us? Okay, so we have the Nine of Swords. Then we have the Nine of Wands. Okay. Ooh, then you have the Ace of Cups. You have the Devil. And you have the Two of Swords. Okay. Right. Right. How can I put these so we can still see everything? I'm going to put this up here and there and there. That should work just for now. Okay. Yeah, that's... Forgive me, here I am. I think there's something that you're needing to rearrange in your world. And I think it's your perspective on something. Okay, hence the smoke. You're not seeing clearly about this, something that you don't see clearly. Or you don't... What's really interesting is there's something that can be really successful and you are not seeing how successful it can be. Uttarabhadrapada, Saturn in Pisces. Saturn is in Pisces. So what's kind of happening with the Saturn energy in Pisces is that things are being dissolved so that we can restructure them. With the Nine of Swords, you are excessively worried about something. And with the Nine of Wands, I think you're basically making a bit of a mountain out of a molehill, or there's something of great potential here, and for some reason you're not really seeing it for what it is. There's conflict in it. I'm going to get more information about this. So let's just acknowledge the possibility that's around you with the Ace of Cups. There is something that can really solidify. It can happen. It can grow. It can absolutely bring you the sweet results you want. It can cause you to like celebrate, to have fun. Just there's something you're going to love, and it's an opportunity, and it's in front of you, or it certainly is there in March. That's what we're seeing. So why is it my pile 3 aren't really seeing this potential, or why are they confused about its possibility? Now, the Devil could be indicating desire. And the Two of Swords, we have conflict. Okay, let's now place those here. I think that is where they can belong. I think this is something that you absolutely desire. Maybe you're not allowing yourself to believe you can have it. Uttarabhadrapada is a card of... It's... of service, actually, of higher consciousness. What's the resistance? There's something that's really fabulous. There's something you desire with the Devil. Yeah, I think the Devil is representing desire. There's something you desire that is coming to you. It can come together. It's literally going to sort of take shape. It's going to set. It can solidify. It's really, really beneficial for you. It's fabulous. You know, this card is Saturn in Pisces. Pisces is ruled by Jupiter. It's like everything is lining up for you, and yet for some reason you're not seeing it. You see it as a conflict, or you see it as a problem, when in fact it's an opportunity. What is this about? Let's ask about the Two of Swords. What is the Two of Swords about? May we please kindly ask. Okay, so we've got the Five of Swords. Okay, that's helpful for us to see. So you are... you need to make a decision. Ah, yes, with the Two of Swords. We have the Queen of Wands, and then we have the Hanged Man. Okay. This is like letting go of the ego mind, and letting go of the worry and surrendering to it. That's the spiritual element of this card, Uttara Bhadrapada. This represents somebody who has reached this point of awakening, of spiritual enlightenment. This is about surrender. There is an opportunity here, rather than going over and over it in your head. This is an opportunity that is absolutely, could be really, really amazing for you. It's beneficial, it's gorgeous, it's fortunate, it's lucky, it's full of love, it's full of joy, full of sweet results. You absolutely desire it. It's almost, this almost feels like you go into your head and you say, oh no, this is too good to be true. This couldn't possibly work for me. This couldn't possibly be, you start to smoke and cloud your own judgment. This is asking you or advising you or suggesting, obviously no reading will ever tell you what to do. You have conscious free will and choice. But the information, as I am seeing it, and I need to read it as I see it, is that an opportunity comes to you in March. And this is absolutely suggesting that it could be completely amazing. And it's suggesting that rather than thinking about it and clouding your thoughts or seeing it as a problem, that you absolutely just surrender to it. Allow this to transform you. That's what's coming through. This is a situation, whatever it may be, and I'll get some more cards for you in just a minute to see if we can get any more information. But whatever this is, it will transform you. You desire it, you want it. You know you want it. This is something you have wanted for ages. And this is saying surrender to it. Stop thinking about it. Is it this or is it that? Stop thinking about it. Let it emerge. Don't give yourself a headache. Free yourself from the clutter of your mind and surrender. That's what your reading is fundamentally about. Wow. Sometimes you get readings that are like really, really quite sort of like short to get to the, sometimes we have to work to find the message, but this is the primary message of this reading. It's actually saying something is amazing. Surrender to it. But let's take it a stage further. Let's see if we can get more information about it. Could we have an indication as to what this is about? Okay, so we have the Four of Wands, which is a card of going for it, committing to it. Okay. We have the Three of Cups. This card really reminded me of the Three of Cups. Even the colours are really similar, look. Right, what I'm seeing is this is a commitment to either a community or a person, or that there's a commitment to something here. This is about making a commitment. We have the Nine of Pentacles and we have the Ace of Cups. So I would say that for some of you, this is a commitment to a financial deal or a new job or moving something forwards, a business relationship. And for others, it could actually be a commitment to love. It could be a commitment to somebody you already are connected to and you want to take it the stage further. It could be a commitment to someone new. It could be a commitment to something in your community, your friendship groups. But this is about a commitment. A commitment is required from you to make it, to put it on a solid footing. It would be like if you met someone and then you formally become a couple as opposed to just dating casually. It's got, or, you've been popping in and out of a community group or something like that. And this is like, actually, this is a really good time. They now require you to commit if you're going to stay and continue. Well, this would be the time to commit. If there's a work project, Nine of Pentacles, if you're thinking about pursuing something, this is the time to commit fully and really knuckle down and do it, because you're going to see the results. Sweet results await. So pile 3, what we see for you in March is an opportunity that you need to make an actual commitment to in order for it to come to fruition, to flourish, to grow, to expand. And it is looking to be utterly super good. And there's a part of you that almost thinks this is too good to be true, I think. But actually, it really is. This is really, really great. So your reading is suggesting that you do actually, you might want to make that commitment. Even if a part of you is saying, oh, I'm really not sure about this. Or it could all go wrong, or whatever you're thinking. But I think this is about overcoming that fear of commitment. Let's see if we're shown anything else here at all before wrapping up your reading. It feels like quite a short reading, but it's to the point. Okay, so you have the Eight of Wands, which is a card of action and energy. It's kind of like, go for it. Why wouldn't you be? And the Sun. This is so lovely. This is so absolutely lovely. Really, really beautiful energy. We have two more cards coming through. We have the Knight of Pentacles again, this is a card of going for it. It also suggests that it will unfold steadily. It will grow at a steady pace. We also have the Seven of Wands, which is interesting. Because I feel with the Seven of Wands, perhaps that's part of the smoke as well. I wonder if with the Seven of Wands that perhaps not everyone would agree with your choice. Or maybe it's a choice that is different for you. A different kind of pathway or a different kind of choice. But look at this. Go for it. Eight of Wands, the Sun. You're gonna love it. This is a really, really lovely opportunity. And it doesn't matter what other people think. Some of you could be a little concerned. Perhaps that's part of the smoke. What will people think? What will people think if I commit to something? Will they say, oh, that's foolish? You've rushed into this. You've moved too fast. But everything here is suggesting that this is one of those energies where if you surrender to it and get out of your head and you really listen to your higher self, your intuitive self, you will know through and through that this is worthy of following. I think also maybe with the Seven of Wands, for some of you, this is about you getting out of your own way, pushing away those doubts. But really, I think this is looking very, very, very good. March just looks like there is something fantastic coming for you. Perhaps this is the breakthrough energy that is, really potentially there, in utilizing the energy. For those of you that watched the first part of this video, there's so much potential if we can overcome, I guess, elements of ourselves that get in the way, and also with the retrograde energy, with Venus in retrograde, with Mercury in retrograde, this is also about enjoying the present moment, really allowing yourself to see anything from the past that's holding you back, centering yourself in the presence of now, surrendering to the now, and letting this unfold, and letting it unfold and seeing how quickly it grows and emerges, how quickly it comes together. And this is about not getting out of your own way in terms of your head and also what anyone else thinks as well. Pile 3, this is your reading. Whether this is a community thing, whether it's something to do with your work, whether it's love, this is really suggesting that the commitment is worth doing. It's like, go out of your way, make the effort to commit and surrender to this extraordinary opportunity. It's absolutely wonderful. Beautiful souls. It feels very divinely guided with Uttara Bhadrapada, actually. Very divinely guided. Beautiful Pile 3, thank you for being here. Thank you so much for liking, for sharing, for subscribing. Don't forget to press the little bell icon if you want to make sure you never miss a reading. Thank you also for checking out my other channel, the Moon Magic Monthly channel, which now has the all zodiac sign readings are over there. Do check them out if you've not yet checked out your all zodiac sign readings for March. And I will look forward to seeing you hopefully for some other readings really soon. Thank you also all of you who comment and give back through the super thanks in the comments. It is always a joy to read your comments and really hear what's happening. And yeah, I would love to know what this is about. Keep us posted. This incredible opportunity. Can you surrender to it? Tons of love, pile 3.